Welcome everyone to another Talking Geeky Stuff, Asian Cinema Part 2. So I hope you can enjoy the intro scene, starting off with another bang. If you saw my previous Asian cinema, it was about Hong Kong / Cantonese speaking films. Today's Asian cinema is going to be focused on, give it a few seconds, Japanese cinema. And in the intro, I edited a few of them. So as I mentioned in my previous video for Hong Kong cinema, I'm trying to use the ones that I personally like, but at the same time it's also pretty accessible to everyone if they are really interested in getting into Asian cinema / Japanese movies. So here's some of the movies that I recommend. Starting with, say, Beat Takeshi, Violent Cop. Back in the mid-90s when this came out, or was it late 90s? I can't actually remember. 96 or 97, can't remember. That kind of got me back into Japanese cinema in a big way. I remember when it was distributed in UK, he had things like they really referenced it to Reservoir Dogs, by Tarantino, that kind of movie. That and the kind of movie that was around that time, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, those kind of movies. So, I thought give it a go. He had some pretty good reviews, so watched it, loved it. Very slow pace, but it's a great movie. Definitely check it out. Then, of course, and I liked him. Beat Takeshi was a great actor. Then, of course, with other films like Battle Royale, he came out with, that was a massive hit. Great film, by the way. Definitely watch it. It's still amazing. Then Zatoichi, he'd done a remake of Zatoichi, which is fun. Quite good humour to it. Because in Japan, native Japan, Beat Takeshi is actually a bit of a comedian. It's weird because when he does his movies, he's pretty straight, pretty hardcore actor. And you got films like Versus. I saw that, I loved it. You can see it was made on a very low budget, but it had swords, spiritual kind of zombies and gangsters. So what's not to like, right? Cheesy. You're watching it again, it's pretty cheesy. I mean, even back then watching it, the special effects wasn't all that, but you're watching it again, it's even worse, of course, now. But you can tell it was made on a budget. It's a great fun. Then, of course, the director went on to make Azumi. After the success of Versus, he had a bigger budget. He made Azumi. Of course, there's two, Azumi 1 and 2, which I found really good. I mean, you cannot get into Japanese films without watching at least a few samurai or maybe ninja movies, right? So that's definitely worth watching. Sword fighting is pretty good. Yeah, I don't know, a male star. Not male, sorry, female star. What am I saying? Female star. And I thought she did a fantastic job as a lead. And then he went on to this director called Takeshi Miki. I mean, I thought Beat Takeshi's movies were quite violent, but you need to watch Takeshi Miki. His films are, wow, definitely watch it. I mean, I remember watching Ichi the Killer first. That was fantastic. It's got a weird sense of humour. It's violent. It's dark. I watched the uncut version. I mean, the cut version was pretty violent already, right? But the uncut version was a little bit more. So, I mean, when I say Asian extreme films, they are quite extreme. So definitely be aware of that. And then, of course, once I found out he did the film called Audition, that was a good film. It was. Oof. There's a scene in there that actually made me almost physically sick. Watch it and you know what I mean. But do bear in mind, Battle Royale, Violent Cop are violent. Some people may think it's a bit too excessive, but especially Battle Royale when you got a bunch of school kids. I won't spoil it if you've not seen it. But Ichi the Killer and Audition and Takeshi Miki's films in general are a little bit more. So if you're going to watch it, do bear that in mind. It can be off-putting, so to speak. And of course, you go into Blade of Immortal, Rolling Kenshin, both based on mangas. Later on, the manga become anime, and both really good films. Great settings, quite close to the manga. Great sword fighting. Overall, really good films. Great samurai films. I mean, come on, who doesn't like samurais, right? And you got a film called Goemon. That was a classic film from the director of Kenshin. I saw Kenshin first, or Kenshin. Don't know how you pronounce that. Goemon was great. It's done back in 97, 98. Watching it now, special effects outdated. I mean, there's one thing that the Asians are still lacking behind America is the visual effects. I mean, we don't have big budgets as the Americans do. I mean, look at the list of films here, right? A single Marvel movie, I'm not even talking about like the Avenger movie, which has like almost unlimited budget. I'm talking about just a standard superhero movie. Probably had a bigger budget than all of these films combined. So they make do with what they have, and it's got a certain charm to it, I think, sometimes, these special effects. So definitely check that out. It's quite fun. Great fighting. Special effects is dated, but hey, that's the fun part, right? Then up through there, you see that it says the next generation is based on Pat Label. If anybody's seen my anime video, I talked about how much I enjoyed the first Pat Label movie, one of my favorites. So I watched this. It got pretty mixed reviews, but I actually pretty like it. I mean, after this, they actually made a TV series, live action TV show, which I quite liked. Not that much action, mostly near the end, where you see the special effects for labors. Then again, it's just like the animated movie. There wasn't much action until the end, so this is similar to that. And when there was action, it's actually pretty good. I thought it was actually pretty well. The set piece is pretty well done. I like the characters. The live action characters were very close to the anime counterpart, so I really enjoyed that. And it's light-hearted, it's fun, it's got a great story, it's serious as well. To certain bits, it's got fun bits, it's got serious bits. It's a little bit different from the other movies I got on this list. So if you're a big fan of Pat Labor and Mech, check it out. Then, of course, last but not least, how can I leave out Seven Samurais by, what's his name again? Akira. You know what? I forgot his name. One of the Akira Kurosawa. That's it. Akira Kurosawa. Seven Samurai. One of the most influential films, not just in Japan, but in the world. I mean, Seven Samurai inspired the Magnificent Seven. I mean, Kurosawa films inspired George Lucas's Star Wars. Inspired a lot of filmmakers how to film. For example, if you're a gamer, you probably know a PS4 exclusive called Ghost of Tsushima. And you can see the developers were heavily inspired by Seven Samurai and the Kurosawa films. Even in the game itself, you get a mode you can play in black and white, where it resembles the Seven Samurai series. I mean, I used to love it when I was a kid. Okay, I watched it recently, a little bit dated, but you can still appreciate that for what it's worth. So definitely, if you get a chance, I recommend these movies. But do bear in mind what I said about Ichi the Killer and Audition. They are pretty extreme, violent in certain things, but it's fun because it does have a sense of humor, especially Ichi the Killer. It's grotesque, but it's also funny. It's really hard to describe. Definitely check these movies out. Of course, Royale Kenshin has a trilogy, so definitely check those out. I like the actor. I think the actor really looks like the anime counterpart. So yeah, let me know if you are a fan of Asian cinema. I'm getting my words mixed up today. And if you are, do you like Japanese movies? Have you seen any of these? Let me know. Which one do you prefer? Which one do you like? So to speak. Well, anyway, thank you for another talking geeky stuff with me, Tenshi, me rambling on about Asian cinema. But definitely check this movie out. I can't say how good they are. Well, anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and please stay safe. Goodbye.